Hi everyone, my name is Betty and my goal is to help you see through the lens of Feng Shui so that you can make the best decision on how you interact with your space. In this video, I am going to talk about some of the most popular Feng Shui objects, whether or not I recommend them, and how you can use them in your space. To start off, here are some of the Feng Shui objects. It is definitely not an exhaustive list, and if you don't see a Feng Shui item that you have used in the past, please leave a comment below to let me know. The first Feng Shui object that I want to talk about is the Bagua Mirror. It is a very well-known Feng Shui object, especially in Asia. And if you're not in Asia, you'll definitely come across this Bagua Mirror in more Asian-dominant neighborhoods. With this Bagua Mirror, you will typically see it hung above the front door or even on a window facing the outside. It is meant to repel evil and negativity from entering your home. In particular, if you have any sa qi like a poison arrow at the front door, then many people will use this Bagua Mirror as a remedy. There are two types of mirrors, a concave mirror and a convex mirror. The Bagua with a concave mirror is meant to absorb and minimize the poison arrow, whereas the convex mirror will reflect and redirect the poison arrow. Therefore, the convex mirror is deemed more harmful because it is redirecting the poison arrow to another property, whether that is the property across the street or somewhere off to the side. Often, if you see one neighbor with the Bagua mirror above the front door, the neighbor across the street will also put one up soon after as a safety precaution. Because this Feng Shui Bagua is so well known, everyone in Asia is clued in on its utility and will take steps to avoid being negatively impacted. In my Feng Shui lineage, we do not use this Bagua mirror as a remedy. Our approach is more based on the 5 elements and using the energies of the natural elements to enhance our space. So I will not recommend it based on my lineage, but other Feng Shui lineage do use this Bagua. And I would say the efficacy of this Bagua really depends on whether or not you are guided by a Feng Shui consultant on the proper placement. The hulu, or Gore, is another popular Feng Shui symbol, and it represents health and longevity. In Chinese mythology, Shou, the god of longevity, is known to carry a staff with a gourd filled with the elixir of life. The gourd is therefore symbolic of good health. Alternatively, in many Chinese legends, you will see the gourd used as a tool to capture and trap evil spirits, which gave the gourd a secondary symbol for protection. In Asia, it is not uncommon for people to hang a gourd near the door to capture any negative energy or hang it in the main living space as a symbol for good health for everyone in the household. As to whether or not this gourd works as a Feng Shui object, well, it serves more as a symbolism to remind you to make better decisions about your health. It does not have any power to magically cure or absorb any illness that you may already be experiencing. If you were raised with this gourd hung around your house, it may be easier for you to create the association between this gourd and good health. But if this is your first exposure, then having this gourd in your house is merely for decoration purposes only. If you actually like the gourd and would like to incorporate it into your space, I will first check to see if it matches the aesthetic of your space. If so, then you can incorporate it in any room that requires more wood elements, which you will know based on a classical Feng Shui assessment. Speaking of the wood element, the money tree is by far the most popular Feng Shui wood element. Many people like to have plants in their space, and the added symbol of it being a money tree makes it all the more alluring. The money tree represents the accumulation of wealth as the tree grows. There are many stories about how this tree came to be known as the money tree. One version is that it came from an old story where a man found money on the road but couldn't find the owner to return it, so he hung the money on a nearby tree. Subsequently, people passing this divine tree were fascinated by its ability to grow money and started to create their own money tree. The second version is that the money tree was a marketing gimmick by florists to increase sales by giving it an auspicious name, monetizing on the psychological factor of this auspicious name to represent good fortune, which is a very common practice in Asia. And over time, people came to associate this plant as the money tree. Even though I often recommend plants to clients, ultimately I have to align more with the second version of the story. Plus, back in the day, money was mostly coin-based, so a Pelia plant fits the profile better than the money tree. Further, succulents like jade plants are also symbols of wealth because succulents hold a lot of water, and water in Chinese culture is synonymous with money. So do I recommend the money tree? Absolutely. I will always recommend natural elements over symbolism that are specific to one culture. Besides, it is not strange to have a plant in your home, but you might raise a few eyebrows if you have a Gore or a Bagua lying around. The next feng shui object I want to talk about is the wind chime. Obviously, wind chimes come in all different shapes and sizes, but for feng shui purposes, I am specifically referring to the 6-rod metal wind chime. The reason it has to be 6-rod metal wind chime is that in classical feng shui, there are 2 malicious stars, the number 2 and the number 5 star, both of which are of the earth element. And in the 5-element cycle, metal is the element to subdue the earth element, and it is represented by the number 6 star. If we think about a real-life example, heavy machineries are often used to excavate the earth, so metal is the only element strong enough to transform the earth element. Even though wind chimes are not the only object made out of metal, the reason why it is so popular in feng shui is because of its flexibility. For instance, if you need to put something metal near a door or a narrow hallway, it will be pretty bulky and inconvenient to have heavy machinery or heavy dumbbells nearby. But you can hang a wind chime without it impeding on your space. Plus, the sound is also considered the metal element. Therefore, the chimes created adds metal vibration to combat the -2 and the -5 earth stars. In my feng shui lineage, we do recommend using a wind chime to suppress the earth energy. However, you have to make sure that your entire wind chime is made out of metal. There are many variations that incorporate wood or clay elements, but those are not as effective. If you are on the market for a metal wind chime, I have listed a few in the description below. The last feng shui object that I want to talk about is the feng shui bracelet. Where do I even start with this? First of all, a feng shui bracelet is definitely a marketing gimmick. These days, marketers throw feng shui behind anything to make it more appealing to consumers. Just like the money plant, the feng shui bracelet is just another name for crystal bracelets. Unless you're into crystals, you likely won't come across it. But if it was marketed and touted with the ability to bring prosperity and peace, then even non-crystal enthusiasts will be intrigued. In feng shui, crystals serve really well as an earth element, but that doesn't mean we have to wear it also. Feng shui is a practice for our space, not our body, so anything that claims to have special abilities through accessories cannot be relied upon. The bottom line is, feng shui bracelets are not feng shui objects and should not be trusted to bring any kind of prosperity or good fortune on their own. I hope this video inspires you to purchase less of the so-called feng shui objects and find symbolism in objects you already own to serve as a reminder to be healthier, happier, and more successful. See you in the next video.